Hello and welcome back to the shed. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to hide or fix up gaps in your dovetails. So let me bring you in and we'll go through it on this toolbox that I'm currently doing here, and we'll show you how we can fix that up. So on these dovetails here we have quite a big gap here, another big gap on the baseline here where it was accidentally undercut or the dovetail didn't pull together properly. So we've got a massive gap here and another gap here. Now, if it was just small gaps as we've got around on the edges of here, just planing it and gluing it up covers up those. But these really big ones require us to actually add a piece of timber back in there and glue it in. Now, what I've got here is a few shavings that I kept and a few bits of timber here from when I was chopping out my dovetails. Now, I always recommend that you don't get rid of them until you've finished it, so you know, but you just hold on to a few different thicknesses and we can use them to cover these gaps up. So what I'm going to do is just try to find the bits of timber that fill these gaps the best. And obviously, if we can match it as closely as we can, that'll be good. If we get the exact area that it comes from, that'd be even better. But what we do is we just size them up like this. So we're going to have a couple of bits that fit in there. On this one here, see if we can get some end grain. Because the end grain's showing here, it's best if you can get the end grain upright here. So we've got a little bit that goes in there. Maybe another little bit that fills this bit here. And then we need a slightly larger bit in the back. Yep, that'll fit there nicely. And finally, if you don't have anything the exact size, you can just thin it down with a chisel. Just be careful. As long as we can partially tap that in there with a hammer, that's what we're looking for. I think on this one, I'll put it in from the side and just tap it in because we've got quite a gap here. So now that we've done this, we pull them out. Remember the order we've got them in. Drop a bit of glue in there. Tap them into place if we need to with a hammer. And wait for them to dry. And then we just give them all a tap in with the hammer. We'll let them dry and then we'll clean them back off. So I'll get back to you once this is all dry. So now we've taken that out, and we're just going to come in with the hand plane. So now I'm going to bring you in close so you can see exactly how this looks now. Obviously here I couldn't find a match that fitted very well, so this is a little bit obvious, but the gap is closed up. Yes, you can notice it, but if you're not looking too close to it, you're probably not going to. This one here is pretty much non-existent. You can't see it anymore. As for over here, you can see that's where we clean that up, and it's not that noticeable. It's probably more noticeable on the camera than it is in person. And the little gap here, which you almost can't even see anymore. So, there you have it, folks. That's how you can close up some quite large and unsightly gaps in your dovetails. And it just goes to show that even though you might be good at doing dovetails and you might just make one mistake or a couple of mistakes, that it doesn't have to wreck your project. It's just a matter of thinking outside the box and coming up with a solution that fills those gaps in. Although it might not be perfect, as in the case of the far one that I showed you there, because the grain doesn't match and the colour is a little bit off, because I couldn't find a little scrap fit there, it still is better than it was before and returns the strength back to that dovetail. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to support me, please consider checking out my Instagram and Facebook below, and liking and subscribing to this video so you can get more of this type of content.